Hey everyone! Tonight we're taking a journey so far back that time itself seems to blur into a world that feels both strange and familiar. Picture this. You're standing on a vast, sunlit savanna in East Africa. The sky is pale blue, the sun a blazing white disk overhead. The heat presses down, drying the air and leaving only the dusty scent of earth and the faint perfume of acacia trees. The clock reads 3.5 million years ago. This is not yet our world. No towns, no roads, no glowing fires on the horizon. The soundtrack here is the buzz of insects, the whisper of tall grass in the wind, and the calls of animals utterly unknown to you. Off in the distance, a herd of three-toed horses grazes warily, while nearby, a peculiar creature, half horse, half gorilla, strips leaves from a low branch. This is the Pliocene epoch, and there, near a sparse stand of trees, are the ones we came to witness, a small family of Australopithecus afarensis. You may know them by the name of their most famous fossil, Lucy. They move on 2 feet, their tracks pressed into volcanic ash, eerily human, yet their faces jut forward. Their arms are long, and their bodies still clothed in thick, dark hair. Watch as they interact. A mother combs through her child's fur with careful fingers. 2 males square off over a piece of fruit, not with shouted words, but with chest pats, forceful huffs, and long, deliberate stares. They are clever, social, fully aware of their surroundings, but listen closely to their voices. You hear grunts, hoots, sharp warnings, and gentle comfort calls. They clearly communicate, but what's missing is the hum of language. No stories about the past, no plans for tomorrow, no questions about the stars. Out of these raw sounds, somehow, would grow the ability to compose poetry, argue philosophy, and whisper bedtime stories. The leap from grunt to soliloquy may be the most astonishing chapter in human history. So, when did those first sounds become words? How did we, an otherwise ordinary ape, gain this incredible gift to build entire worlds from nothing but sound? And what fragile clues could survive millions of years to reveal that story? Thanks to tiny fossils and the relentless work of scientists, we can begin to piece it together. Tonight, we'll venture into that silence to search for answers. Of course, if you were actually dropped into this world, surrounded by saber-toothed cats and giant hyenas, you wouldn't last long enough to reflect on its significance. So before we go further, take a moment to like and subscribe if you truly enjoy this kind of deep dive. That one small click tells the algorithm that thoughtful, long-form content still matters. For me, it's a huge and meaningful show of support. Thank you. I'm always amazed to see where you're watching from, so let me know in the comments where you are and what time it is right now. Now dim the lights, maybe put on a fan for a gentle background hum, and let's settle into tonight's exploration together. You stay there, a silent witness to their lives. What strikes you first is the soundscape. In our world, your ears are constantly filled with language, snippets of conversation, podcasts, TV in the next room. Here, the information rides on the wind, not on words. A sudden cry from a lookout means danger, but it can't say which predator or from what direction. A cluster of grunts might mean food, but it can't explain how to prepare it, or that it matches the roots found by the river last week. Their communication is powerful, yes, but trapped in the present. Scholars still debate whether these beings lived mostly on the ground and climbed trees for safety, or were tree dwellers who ventured onto the savannah. The very fact that this question persists shows the limits of their communication. Strategies for survival weren't taught in words, they had to be copied by watching. It was a world of direct experience. Their bones tell the same story. Their brains were only about 1/3 the size of ours, and their throats were built far more like apes than modern humans. They had the equipment to make noise, but not the intricate, flexible system needed for true speech. As the sun sinks and paints the sky with deep oranges and purples, the family huddles together for warmth and safety. In the dark, unseen predators stir. Their soft calls to one another bind them in comfort and connection. But the long night will be endured in shared silence. Their inner fears and private thoughts remain locked inside their minds. And then it hits you, the depth of the problem. Those grunts and hoots that once echoed through these ancient trees have vanished forever. They were only vibrations in air, fleeting ripples that disappeared into the silence of deep time. Words don't fossilize. Sentences don't turn to stone. This is the central challenge. The very thing we're trying to uncover, the birth of language, was by nature impossible to preserve. It was as fleeting as breath on a cold morning. So how can we tell this story? How can we hope to glimpse the voices of beings gone for millions of years? We begin by becoming anatomical detectives. We search for echoes of a voice within the machinery that once produced it. The fossilized skeletons of our ancestors serve as the blueprints of that machine. And hidden in their silent, stone-hard frameworks, we can trace the faint outlines of vocal ability. Paleontologists have learned to read proxies, small indirect hints in bone, that reveal secrets about the soft tissues long vanished. It's like stumbling upon the shell of an ancient, unfamiliar car. You may not have the engine itself, but from the size of the bay, the design of the intake and the layout of the exhaust, you can infer a lot about the power it once held. When it comes to the birth of speech, our investigation centers on three main parts of that chassis. First, there is the vocal instrument itself, the production hardware. This includes the larynx or voice box and a tiny yet essential bone called the hyoid, which will become central to our story. Second, there's the vocal tract, the resonating chamber of throat and mouth, which sculpts the raw vibrations into vowels and consonants. Its dimensions are shaped by the base of the skull. And third, the auditory system, the receiver. The tiny bones of the ear reveal what frequencies our ancestors could hear. Because what good is a voice if no one is tuned to listen? By combining evidence from these three domains, we can start to reconstruct the lost tale. It's crucial to be clear about what we're chasing, not just communication. Many animals already excel at that. Whales broadcast songs that travel hundreds of miles. Dolphins click and whistle to coordinate and recognize one another. Honeybees perform elaborate dances to convey the exact direction and distance to nectar. Scientists still argue about how complex these systems may be, but they all lack two extraordinary ingredients that make human language unique: syntax and recursion. Syntax is the set of rules we follow to combine words into meaningful order. Dog bites man is a very different statement than man bites dog. Recursion is even rarer. It's the ability to nest one idea inside another endlessly. You can say the dog ran, or the dog that saw the cat ran, or the dog that saw the cat that chased the mouse ran. This nesting ability unlocks infinite complexity. That is the power we're looking for. A system capable of saying not just danger, but be careful of the lion we spotted by the river yesterday. It looked hungry and may circle back this way. To reach that level, you need a very specific vocal instrument. You need an upgrade from the crude horn of our ancestors to something more like a symphony orchestra, an instrument capable of nuance and precision. And this orchestra runs on the most sophisticated software in the known universe, the human brain. To uncover the very earliest pieces of this vocal instrument, we must leave the African plains of the Pliocene far behind. We need to travel back much deeper into time, spin the clock backward, past the extinction of the dinosaurs, beyond the reign of giant reptiles, until you arrive at a muddy shoreline beside a shallow sea, roughly 375 million years ago. This is the Devonian, the age of fishes. The air is thick, damp, and heavy with the scent of swamp and decay. Primitive plants, towering mosses and tree ferns, form Earth's first forests. Enormous dragonflies as big as seabirds drone overhead. The world is green, brown, and strangely quiet. There are no bird song or mammal calls, only the lapping of waves and the buzz of insects. Here you witness a turning point in the history of life. Scientists still debate the exact pressures behind it. Was it to escape the colossal armored fish patrolling the shallows, or to seize the smorgasbord of insects and small creatures thriving at the water's edge? Whatever the cause, you see it, a creature heaving itself from the sea. It looks half fish, half crocodile, flat head, eyes tilted upward, 4 fleshy fins working like awkward legs. This is something like Tiktaalik, one of our most distant, most crucial relatives, a pioneer, a fish out of water, and within its body it carries the seeds of the human voice. The first ingredient is something you use every second without thought: lungs. In the water, its ancestors had gills to pull oxygen. But on land, survival requires a different system. The air is thick, strange, but filled with the oxygen this creature craves. From the swim bladders its fish ancestors once used for buoyancy, evolution has reshaped a new organ, a pair of simple lungs. With each gulp, it pulls air into its body. At first, this is nothing but a way to breathe on land, but evolution rarely builds from scratch. It retools. This simple act of moving air in and out of a body will one day power every word ever spoken.